Well, anyway, I guess I'll hit the button.
I'm not that generous with my stones.
The wrong
Not
button.
that one. Yeah, that's the wrong one.
Wakey, wakey.
Welcome back to I'll Make a Stay Out of You, the podcast where I, Phil, get to talk about Stray Kids. My friend Tom. Hey, Tom. How you doing?
Oh, yeah.
We're recording.
Oh, yeah, we're recording finally.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, woo. Is that how does that go with that?
You know what? Let's just move on.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
We're starting earlier than normal.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
You
is
really
what we
wanna-
call... Oh, wait, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say that's the magic of melatonin.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. Because we've been giving Logan melatonin for the last week.
Right.
It works well. He's able to fall asleep much more quickly as we're going to bed. There's a problem. You know, the idea behind giving him melatonin is okay, well, like if we give him the melatonin, then we can help like reset his sleep schedule. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that way we can get him to bed earlier. But that means that we would have to do all the other things earlier to make sure that he can like eat dinner, have his dessert, you know, brush his teeth, take a shower, all the things that you do. And instead, we just still didn't change any of those other things. So we're like, okay, well, you're going to go to bed really easily, but it's still going to be at like 9 p.m. So it hasn't had the desired effect yet. I think that we're like 100% after, but that's not a Logan problem. That's a me problem, you know?
Right.
So nothing much I can do about that. Well, I mean, technically I'm the only one who could do anything about that. But you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you know, we're doing fine. Yeah. What have you been up to?
Just, you know, working.
Watching Lock and Key.
Right, yeah. Watching Lock and We're Fucking Idiots.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, you know, just kind of doing the usual stuff, playing Satisfactory, raiding in World of Warcraft.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Well, today, as we're recording this, was field day at Logan and Michelle's school.
What's that?
What's field day?
Yeah.
It's
we've talked about this before.
I think so.
Because I know that there is a thing that they do called field day that like is a thing, but for us in the Navy, field day for us is like deep clean the office or the space. Like,
yeah, it's not that.
Get out the swabs, get out the sponges, scrub the deck, you know, stuff like that. That's what field day means.
You have to clean it with Q-tips?
Mops.
Okay. Oh, swabs. I gotcha. Yeah. Thanks for translating. I'm sure I'm not the only one that would have thought swabs. You're going to get down on the ground with a little Q-tip and be like, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
I mean, it depends on what you're cleaning, but sure, yeah, I've used Q-tips to clean some stuff before. Oh, like my orb weaver. I used Q-tips to clean. I popped the keycaps off and, you know, got it in there.
I know plenty of things that you and I have cleaned with Q-tips before. We won't talk about.
Oh, so true.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that never happened.
Because, you know, you're not supposed to clean your ears, but you do it anyway.
Right.
God damn it.
I do.
Anyway, we're not.
I do actually.
Yeah.
I use Q-tips on my ears like almost every day.
That's pretty often. You're gonna end up on. Sometimes I just feel like I need to uninstall TikTok.
Too.
And
every day.
Every day, right? I found there was a video that showed up on my For You page that was like somebody getting their like ears irrigated for earwax. It was fascinating and disgusting. Like So yeah, I had a Anyway, I'm just gonna say you're gonna end up, being one of those people if you keep mashing your earwax around like that.
I mean, yes, yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like my ears are pretty clean. Yeah, and but here's the thing that like, and I know that probably a lot of people say this and they're totally wrong, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I do it the correct way. Like I've got a technique that like isn't just fucking jamming earwax down in there.
Yeah, I think I've got it figured out. I don't do it every day, but yeah, I mean, I clean it pretty often. Like, no hate from me because I also do it. So
yeah.
Anyway, not safe for ears, but don't take our advice because we're doing it anyway.
Like my mom used to clean my ears with like peroxide and fucking
right
and toothpicks. Like she would fucking dig around in there with a toothpick with peroxide.
Oh God.
Yeah. So like I don't know what's better, still doing that or to use the Q-tip.
Yeah, Q-tip sounds great. Q-tip sounds. I mean, like
wiggle around.
Using a peroxide or whatever every once in a while is probably not a bad thing. I mean, they make special drops that mostly have peroxide in them, but in a certain concentration.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I used. I did get like a really bad like. I guess it was a clog or something. Like a couple years ago. And it was, it was this bullshit situation, but it was, the Navy failed me again in that regard.
Naturally.
Because, the reason is because like it fucking hurt. Like my ear was like in a lot of pain, bearable pain, but still like any amount of pain in your ear is probably not a good thing, Right.
And yeah. You generally want to avoid that.
But I was on leave. And my ship had left, like it was out at sea for a little bit, but it had pulled back in, and anything medical related, you're supposed to like check in with the ship's medical first before, and then they refer you over. If they can't do it, then they refer you over to the hospital when you're stationed on ship. But I was like, fuck that. I'm on leave. I'm not going to the ship. Right. So I went to the hospital and I went to their little like clinic and I was like, hey, my fucking ear hurts. And I just want someone to like look at it and maybe, I don't know, flush it out, do whatever you need to do. And they were like, we can't see you have to go to your ship medical. And like, I knew that they had pulled in, but I also knew that they had just pulled in like the day prior. But I was like, well, what if they're out? Like I'm on leave. What if they're out at sea right now? And they were like, what ship is it? And I was like, don't worry about that. I'm asking hypothetically if they were out right now, right?
Yeah,
like what would you do? And they're like, well, what ship are you stationed on? I'm like, okay, so you can't just fucking answer the question. And I told them, and then they were like, yeah, they're in right now. They pulled in yesterday. You can go to your medical. And I'm like, right, but I'm here right now. What are you guys doing? There was nobody in the waiting area, right? Like I was the only person there. They could have like definitely seen me, and I was like, can you guys not just like take me back there and fucking flush out my ear really quick? Like what's the problem? And they're like, you have to go to your ship medical. And I was like, okay, what do you guys fucking do here then? Isn't that the point of this fucking clinic is for you guys to do this?
Yeah.
and you're just turning me away. So
just turning you away. Yeah.
So I was like, fuck that. So I went home and I went on Amazon and I ordered like a little ear cleaning irrigation kit thing, and in it was like mix like half warm water and half peroxide, and then like use this to flush your ears or whatever, and it worked. So I was like, but
hey, there you go.
But like they could have just done it, Yeah,
like 100%. I don't know how this became the ear cleaning podcast, but here we are. Like, this is where we are now.
Because Q-tips, don't use Q-tips,
oh right,
but
Q-tips, swabs,
awesome.
Yeah. You got to use swabs.
Right, yeah.
Anyway,
cotton swabs.
That's cool. Yeah. So anyway, field day for elementary schools is like a day where they usually have like a bunch of different stations of fun stuff to do. And so like they had they had 2 big inflatable water slides. At this one, they had like, they didn't, in previous years they did a dunking booth, but this year they had like a different thing where it was like they had like a little bucket, and you threw a ball at a target, and then it tipped the bucket and poured it down on the kids' heads, and it was fun. I mean, like we went. Michelle actually Logan was first. Logan's field day was at like 8 a.m. So we got there pretty early, like right after the kids got dropped off, basically. And so we got to see Logan go through all of the different things, and got to see, all the kids in his class and how they get along and stuff. And so it's like a cool thing to be able to go do. And it was nice because although my job is super flexible with me just like taking time off or whatever, actually working for a school district is not that flexible. But Jeanette managed to get it off this time because in the previous years they would do field day like towards the end of the school year, which is usually when like nobody has any time available to take days off, which is why Jeanette couldn't go last year. So it was nice. We were both there. And then after Logan went in, Michelle's group, kindergarten, was the next group to come out. And so we got to have fun all over again with the kindergartners and go through all of the same exact things, but with a different kid, which was cool.
Yeah.
And we got to see, chat with their teachers. And Jeanette got Michelle has this one friend in her class, and she's always talking about her, and they like draw pictures for each other and then exchange them. And at one point Michelle had asked like, hey, like, can you write down Mama's phone number on a thing that I can give to her so that like we can have play dates and stuff? And I said, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that seems reasonable. So I did, and but we never got a text or whatever. But so we were there, and we're just, watching Michelle, and we're, saying, oh, this is cool. Like, it's nice to see like her and how she interacts with the kids in her class and stuff. But then we hear this other parent who was there who was just like talking to her kid, and she's like, which one's Michelle? And I'm like, excuse me? What do you mean, which one's Michelle? That's my kid. What are you talking about? Yeah. And yeah, Jeanette, has the ability that I don't to just be social when she needs to with people she doesn't know. And so she was just like, oh, are you that girl's mom? Michelle's always talking about her and stuff. And then she's like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay. And then she was like, oh, did you send like your phone number on like a paper or whatever? And we were like, yeah, we did that. And she's like, see, we lost it, and I couldn't find it. Like, and so Jeanette was like, give me your number, like I'll text you. And so she texted her, and Michelle was super excited. And Michelle and this girl like really like each other and have a lot of fun together. So, and they were playing the whole time. It was super cute. Yeah, it was just nice to see how they interact, because like when your kids are at home, like they act completely differently from when they're at school. Right. And Michelle is extremely shy. Especially around people she doesn't know very well. And so like it takes her a while to like warm up and be able to show her personality. So I wasn't sure how she was doing at school with that kind of stuff, but she loves her teacher. She's always talking about her, and she likes a lot of the kids in her class. So I figured things must be going okay for her, but actually seeing it is believing. And so it was nice to see like how she's a little bit more outgoing, because like if my like dad comes over and it's been like more than a week since she saw my dad, she just like hides for a little while and stays completely silent. And I'm just like, ugh. And it's a real pain in the ass, because like we took her for her, I don't even know if I mentioned this, but we took her for a yearly checkup, and they were doing like the ear test that you wear the headphones and you lift your hand on the side where you hear the sound. And she started out doing it fine. She was lifting her hand. And then she slowly started like lifting her hand like less. And then she just stopped lifting her hand and stopped doing anything. And then I was just like, okay, like what's going on? Is she having like, hearing problems? Like what's happening? And then the nurse was like, Michelle, can you hear that? And she was like, she like didn't move, didn't shake her head, nod her head, nothing. And I just was like, Michelle, are you feeling too shy and you don't even want to lift your arms anymore? And then she like shook her head rapidly. Yes. Like she just like, she was doing fine. And then she like got psyched out, had some anxiety about it or whatever. And then just like stopped participating.
Yeah.
It's just like, and that's not the only time something like that happened either, because like we got, she's doing really well in school, and we got these like results back. They do like these, every once in a while they'll do these tests for like how their reading ability is going or whatever. And we got it back, and her reading ability for her age group is like off the charts, which makes sense because she loves to like learn letter sounds, and she's like where like Logan would get nervous and anxiety if I tried to be like, what sound does this make, and try and help him sound out words. He would just like stop talking to me. But Michelle is trying to do it all the time. Like she's really excited about reading, which is good. But on her test, it said like, so like her current, she's like in the 88th percentile, I think, for like reading for her age in the country, which is good. I mean, that's really high, right? But then it shows like the first time she was tested, and it was like way below everyone, way off the charts in the negative direction. And I'm like, what happened between then and now? And I was like, I'm not like worried about it because she's doing really well, but like, what's the deal? Like, how did that happen? And then Jeanette messaged or emailed her teacher and was like, hey, like we're really proud of her. We think she's doing great. That sounds good. What happened? Because the form says like, oh, she needs to like have interventions to like make sure that she's doing these things right and these things right and these things right based on her first results. And I'm just like, I don't think any of that sounds right. And so, but Jeanette gets a message back from her teacher pretty quick. She responded really fast. She's like, oh, Michelle's doing great. I'm not worried about where her reading level is at. She's doing wonderful. As for the first time, how that went was they brought in a person who's familiar with the program that they use on the iPads to do these tests. And they walked her through doing the test. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, I see what happened here. A stranger came into the classroom and tried to talk to her about doing something, and she refused to do it and got a low mark on it. That's what happened. Right. Like, okay, all right, it all makes sense now. But yeah, she's doing good now. I'm happy with where she's at, and it's nice to see how she's doing. And Logan's doing really well in school as well, but he doesn't talk about it as much. Like Michelle, it's such a weird experience, right? Because Logan was here for so long. This is his second grade year, so he's been in the school for 3 years. And for 3 years, it's like pulling teeth to get him to talk about what happened on his day. It's like, hey, what happened today? I try to ask open questions, like, what was the funniest thing that happened today? Anything like that. And he's like, nothing really. I'm like, oh, God damn it. Meanwhile, and I didn't know this was just going to be a personality thing, but we pick up Michelle and with the two of them together now that she's in kindergarten, and she's like, Papa, guess what? And I'm like, what? She's like, the letter of the day today was C. C. And I'm like, nice. Hell yeah. Like, but it also has like, because they're sitting in the car together, they're now competing to tell me about their days. So I actually get to hear more about Logan's day because he wants to also share, because Michelle is sharing about her day. Right. So it's like, it's really helped them both kind of blossom. It's been awesome. Yeah. An awesome blossom, if you will.
I was gonna mention it if you didn't.
Okay. All right. What was that? Is that, I don't remember what restaurant had the awesome blossom, but
Outback has the bloomin' onion. Right,
it has the bloomin' onion, but the awesome blossom was like a different. It was a different one. It was like it wasn't. I don't think it was Chili's. Applebee's. Does Applebee's have the awesome blossom?
I don't know. I've never heard
Listen,
this.
I'm gonna Google it. It's the same thing.
It's probably Shenanigans.
Yeah, Shenanigans, the one with the goofy shit on the wall.
Yeah.
One good thing that I learned. It was Chili's.
Oh.
What the fuck? I thought it wasn't Chili's because I was taking off the Chili's menu in June 2008. Holy shit, I'm so fucking old.
Oh, yeah, it's been a minute, huh?
Oh god. Oh man. I'm so old. What happened? Oh, yeah, we didn't know each other.
Yeah, we hadn't even met.
Yeah. I mean, we met not too long after that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's been a fun little week that we've had. It's been eventful. Logan was sick. Like, he got a fever and woke me up at 3 a.m., which did not go over well to me, but he had a fever. So, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I took him to the doctor. And, of course, anytime you go to the doctor, they suddenly don't have any symptoms or fevers, which is frustrating. But he, like, legitimately hasn't really spiked another fever. So it's fine, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's real cool. They gave him antibiotics anyway because Michelle had pneumonia recently, and so they were like, well, just in case, like, let's not like wait for it to get worse if it does. So I said, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And it's great. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a well, okay, so one of the guys from my division, I guess is what I'll call it.
Sure.
He made chief recently.
Oh, good for him.
But they don't like have a spot for him yet. Well, maybe they do, but they haven't like announced, like, because they do like this chief shuffle, you know, to like assign chiefs, like newly promoted chiefs to like positions. And my chief is supposed to leave in February. Although we got news today that it might not be till June, which is super cool. But
I mean, better the chief you know than the chief you don't.
Wrong.
Is that wrong? Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And so they want my current chief to get podium hours for some fucking reason. And so what she's doing right now is sitting through the class. Like, we just started a class Tuesday. She's sitting in the class to get like
annoying
trained on the class. But we told our senior chief, the department senior chief, we were like, hey, this class is fucking hard. Okay. So when she starts the class, she's not going to do fucking anything else, right? She needs to stay in class. You guys can't pull her for meetings. You can't make her do anything else except do this class. And they're like, okay. And so our newly appointed chief, Park, has like stepped in to fill the gap, right? He's not officially our chief or acting chief, but he's doing the job since our chief can't. And was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, Wednesday we were like wrapping up for the day, and he comes over and he's like, hey, so I talked to Chief, about like, I guess you had a meeting with her and everything, and like, I don't know if I'm gonna be taking over as chief over here, but like, if I do, and just kind of like get my bearings for now, like, I wanted to talk to it because the person that is like stand-in LPO when I'm gone was also there. It was just the three of us, and he's like, yeah, so I just wanted to talk to both of you and like, kind of get the lay of the land basically. Cause he was an aux instructor. So he was like in the other building. He wasn't with us.
Right.
And we talked a little bit. It was okay. But one of the things that like we got really hung up on for like probably an hour was he was like, so Chief told me something about, something you said about people being late and how you don't think it's a big deal. And I just wanted to like see like where your head is at on that. And I was like, yeah, I don't think we should talk. Like, I don't care if people are late. It doesn't affect anything. Right.
Right.
And he's like, well, I mean, there is an effect though. And I'm like, if there is an effect, what I'm saying is if there's not, right. Cause like if say you're like on the schedule to teach and you're late, then somebody else has to like fill in for you once or twice, no big deal. But once it becomes a pattern, that's when we're like, hey, like you gotta cut this shit out. Right.
Right.
But that's never happened. And I'm like, because before we got on this conversation, we were talking about like working hours and how,
right.
My thinking is if we do all the work, it doesn't matter what fucking time it is, we're done.
Right. Oh yeah. 100%. Right. Yeah.
And
have you convinced him of that yet?
He's more or less on board with it.
Nice.
There's still this, this like, if we have a spotlight on us, from the higher ups, like what he said is he wants to make sure that we can justify it. And I was like, well, that's why I made this checklist. Right. So like every day I come in this office, I work through this checklist. And once I have everything marked off, then I have enough ammunition that if anyone asks, I can say this got done. Right. Like we're done.
Right.
The only exception being like things that we don't know about. And he's like, well, it has the potential to be an issue. And I'm like, right, but we shouldn't make policy based on the
potential.
Right, based on potential. Right. We should make policy based on how it is and then handle situations as they come up later on. So like later on, if I send someone home and it becomes a problem, then we can look at like, okay, what do we need to adjust or what else do we need to now account for?
Right.
And he's like,
all things that make sense.
He's like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, right. Okay. So, but with the being on time thing, he's like, so the workday is supposed to start at 7. And I'm like, right. But, the problem with approaching that as this hard and fast rule that any slight deviation has to be addressed, does not increase our, what was I saying? Like the desire to complete work at the pace and the efficiency that we do already. Because if you're going to harp on me for being, say I'm like 5 minutes late one day, if you want to talk about it in that moment, like when I get in, if you want to ask me, oh, why were you late? What are you going to do to avoid it in the future? Blah, blah, blah. I now have no motivation to do anything outside of the bounds of the schedule, which is what I would normally do. And he's like, well, I mean, we have to be flexible throughout the day. I'm like, no. You can't say that we can't be flexible on the 7 o'clock thing and then say that I have to be flexible with, 10:30 being lunch, 12 being the end of lunch, and 1500 being the end of the day. Right. Because if you're going to harp on 7 a.m. being what time I need to be in, fine. I'll be in at 7 a.m. every day. And if I'm not, you can punish me accordingly. But what that means is at 10:30, I will stop work and I won't do a fucking thing until 12. And then at 1500, I'm leaving and you're not going to talk to me. You're not going to send me any text message. I'm not going to answer phone calls. I'm doing nothing. Right. Because I will work within the box that you've put me in. You can't say that we're in a box, but only care about one side. Right.
Yeah. 100%. That's how the world works. I mean, like literally, like once I became salary, and it's still a struggle, like there's an expectation that if somebody needs to message me and it's 7 p.m. that I should answer. Right. But if that's going to be the case, you don't say anything to me about when I get in, when I leave, when I go to lunch, how long I'm gone for. None of that. You no longer get to talk to me about any of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And literally, like my manager, when I became like a salaried person at my company, had to sit down with me and be like, look, hours don't matter anymore. Now it's quality of work and the fact that things get done. So don't worry about if you have to clock out early, whatever, like it's all good. Well, not clock out because there's no more clocking. But you know what I mean? Like it's exactly what you're describing.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you are salaried. You have a salary. You are not counting hours. Yeah. So yeah.
Right. But he was like, yeah, but it's like the perception of things. So I'm like, who's watching us? Right.
Yeah, what's the perception? Who's perceiving?
We're in our own little bubble over here because we're in a completely separate building on the other side of base. No one's fucking watching us. And he used the OSs as an example, and we're like, you're posing this as if like the OSs and the QMs who work in the same building as us are like watching our hours. I can't remember the last time I saw an OS come or leave, like,
right.
Because I don't fucking give a shit about that. And I don't think any of them do either. Like we're not keeping track of each other's schedules. No one gives a shit about that. Right.
Right.
And he's like, but the other thing I said is perception is not real. And he's like, well, perception is real. I'm like, no, it's not a thing. The reason that I say it's not a thing is because effectively, in terms of like how it affects what we did that day, it does not exist. Right. Just because the higher ups perceive a certain thing does not make it so. Right. So if they think that us coming in late is a problem, and yet we're still delivering the expectations throughout the day, then it's not actually a problem, right? Effectively, it had no difference on our work. So I don't think that we should action things because they can be perceived a certain way. We should only action things based on the actual effect they have. And if there is no effect, then there's not a problem. Like being late on its own is not a problem. Being late consistently is not a problem. Being late and causing something to happen is a problem.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know. I don't see it that way. And I was like, okay, hypothetical. Well, not even a hypothetical, because this actually happened that day. Right. That day when we were having this conversation, I was like, I got in, I was on base at 6:53. And I thought, maybe I have enough time to swing by McDonald's. And so I drove over to McDonald's, and at this point it's 6:55. And the line was kind of long, like there were like 3 or 4 cars in line. And I was like, I don't think I can get through it in 5 minutes. And so I drove over to the office and I got in. And once I got into the office and everyone saw that I was in the office at 7, I left and went to McDonald's.
Right.
And then, so then I went to McDonald's, I got my food, and I came back. And then by the time I got back, it was like, like 7:15 or whatever. Right. And I was like, so I could have taken, the 7 minutes or whatever that it would have been, maybe even less, to just sit in the line and be a couple minutes late. But instead, I came here, I showed up, I made sure people saw me, and then I took even more time not working to go get breakfast, which is not a problem, right? Like we do it all the time. It's never been a problem. It never will be a problem because what really matters is, did we get the work done? And we absolutely got the work done. So I actually we lost more time me doing that than just letting me be late and not fucking talking about it.
Right.
And he's like, okay, I see what you're saying, but I still think people should be on time.
Come on, dude.
I'm like, okay.
But okay. What he's really meaning is that people should strive to be on time, which you are.
Well, yeah, you're not. Yeah, I was like, nobody is trying to be late. Nobody wants to shift the working hours. All we're saying is we will try to be here at 7, but if we're not, don't fucking mention it. Right? Because it does not matter.
Unless I imagine if it's significant or egregious. Like if you're going to be like an hour late, you're probably texting someone. Right? Like, if you're actually going to be like significantly late, you're letting people know so that people know what's happening. Like what? So it's I can't imagine a scenario in which like you're just like, because if I'm 5 minutes late, nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? Right. So like why? Like you're gonna come, I'm gonna walk into the office and you're start harping on my TPS reports. Like shut the fuck up.
That's what our current chief has been doing. And
really?
And when we had our little sit down, I told her to fucking knock it off because we don't want to fucking hear it. Because I told her she's got 2 options, right? I think I mentioned this last time, right?
Yeah.
The 2 options are, we can absolutely harp on, like we're all for following the schedule if that's what y'all want from us. But you don't want that. Like, I promise you that's not what you want from us, because if you're telling us that that every second of the day is going to be like scrutinized at that level, then we will ensure that we follow that to a T.
Only that,
like maliciously follow that to a T. Malicious compliance, right? It will 100% turn into that. If you want to if I'm 2 minutes late and you want to fucking talk about it, sure. But at 10:30, I'm clocking out. Like, you're not fucking talking to me at 10:30. Or the other side of it is you just don't even fucking mention what time I get in or what time I leave or whatever. The only thing that you focus on is, did I do my work? Because I'm going to work through lunch. I work through lunch like every fucking day. I stay late if I need to. I come in early if I need to. I do my shit. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah. Tom starting a work revolution in the Navy. You're going to leave and they're going to be like, this is a whole new Navy now.
Yeah, no, they're not going to change.
No, I know. That's not even wishful thinking. That's impossible. But you know what is possible?
Stray Kids, world domination.
Stray Kids world domination. Yeah, of course. Bang Chan said it on top of a tank. Yeah, but also we're gonna continue watching, I should say, Ask Us Anything. So that's fun. I love that. It's been a good time. So and the website we're using to watch it, with all the subtitles and everything, it remembered where we were. So I actually backed it up like 10 seconds so that we would like jump in, because Hyunjin was about to do like one of these guessing games that they're doing, and we'll see how it goes, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do it. I'll hit the play button. You ready?
All right. Yeah.
Let's do it.
A few moments later.
Okay. Sorry. Listen. Here's the thing. All right. We're done watching for the night. Hey, this was great. We had fun watching that. Here's the thing. We almost just stayed and watched the whole thing, and it's not necessarily, it's not 100% just because I was sucked in and enjoying the game that they were doing. It's because like at the very end there, they played Pokemon Go, and I was like, okay, well, this can't possibly be the last section that we're watching, so there must be something after that, and that's the complete next section that we're watching. But it turns out where we were going to stop was after Pokemon Go, which is a little anticlimactic. I'm going to put it out there. It's a little but it's okay. It is okay. We'll finish it. We'll finish it next week. So, Tom, what'd you think of the episode so far? We still got another 30 minutes, but
yeah, it's funny. It's good. I like the.
It's funny.
Yeah, the like stories where they had to like guess the stories. That's a good bit.
Yeah, it's great. I loved that. Who had your favorite story today, or were there things? So I know
probably. I mean, Hyunjin's is fucking wild, but I liked Han's story.
Yeah,
because
I was gonna say Hans,
because it's like it confirms the Clark Kent Superman theory, you know. Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Because we're always talking about how Sungmin is just invisible and changes his look, and we just can't pick him out of a crowd. And apparently neither can JYP, so we've got that in common. I don't want to have a lot of things in common with JYP, but I guess we'll allow it. Having things in common with JYP is
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Han also was my favorite like story because it was like harrowing. I was like, excuse me, when he's just like everybody else is like, one time I wore glasses and JYP didn't recognize me. Great story. And Han's like, when I was 10, I was in the jungle. I fell in a rushing river, and then I saw a crocodile's tail slap in the water before I got pulled out and saved. And I'm like, excuse me? This is just a chill variety show, dude. Like, what are you doing?
I almost died when I was a wee lad.
It was yeah, I mean, it would definitely be scary. Yeah, 100%, but it's pretty good. I liked Hyunjin's also. I was debating between the two of them as well. Because with Hyunjin, he almost joined a cult. and it reminded me of a solo travel blog. Yeah. You remember solo travel blog, right? He learned Korean from one of these Korean cults.
Oh,
like he was like wandering around in Korea, and there was a cult that was like, they wanted to get him to like join their cult and come to their events, and they had like a Korean school, so he would go and attend like their classes to learn Korean, and they were like, cool, hey, thanks for being there, hey, come there. And Solo Travel Blog was saying that like he felt like that they were inviting him to a lot of places and putting him in like the front row of things to make it seem like, isn't our cult nice, we've got a white guy. So that was pretty funny. But he did learn Korean, so I mean, pretty nice Korean right there.
Got something out of it.
Yeah. It was pretty great. He said that he name dropped them. It's totally like, if you haven't watched Solo Travel Blog, it's totally worth like going onto YouTube, finding his channel, and seeking out that video where he talks about the time that he joined a cult for a little while. Because he mentioned in it that like they had like a big cult gathering at like a stadium, and there was like a shitload of people there, and he was like, what the fuck is going on? But he did learn Korean, so not too bad cult right there. Yeah. And if you want to join a cult, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, join the cult of stray kids.
Yeah. Stay a while and listen.
And let us know what you think.
That's perfect. Yeah, what a callback. Oh man, Stray Kids. Yeah, they're doing good, man. In current day, obviously this wasn't that long ago. But it's fun to see them, do their performances and stuff. They didn't perform Jam. They did like a medley dance performance during this part of the episode that we were watching, which was great. They went out to the grass and did like a little dance. But I was expecting Jam. And because they promoted it as their B-side as they were like doing the music shows and stuff, so that kind of tells me like when this was filmed, because it was like before they were that Jam was a part of their like choreography set that they were showing people. So yeah, but it's pretty cool. Hyunjin also, the thing about him is that he did a dance after his story. He's like, I joined a cult, now watch my moves. And his dance was really good, and he performed it to the solo song that's going to be released at some time in the future. So that's important. There's other Stray Kids news that I forgot to tell you about.
Shit.
So I told you, right, that they're doing the soundtrack for Tower of God season 2, which we've been predicting for a long time. But along with that, and probably containing said song, they're actually going to release a Japanese album.
Oh,
so
shit.
Yeah. Which you know what that means? Like fucking groovy ass, good songs. Yeah, it's called Giant.
Oh,
because they are giants. Show them the pics. Someone link it. Let's show Tom the pic. Dude, okay. Here's the thing: is that like they released some concept photos of our men. Bangchan's photos are like unfair how good they are. That man, he has the ability to do things, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You'll know what I mean. Somebody's
is he doing some flexing?
His pose, his outfit, his the look in his eyes. It's a real. You remember that trailer where he like kind of like squinted his eyes and it did that like there we go. Yeah, there it is in chat. Go check that out. The very top left one, Bangchan looking at you through his hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's even got his head tipped the same way. Yeah. this man, he does things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone looks good. Like, don't get me wrong, but there's something about Bang Chan's whole concept here is just, Yep. He needs to, I think he has started working out more again, but like they all need to get back in the gym. Look at the fuck. Like, I remember early in this, Changbin was talking about how like he stopped going to the gym for a very short amount of time and felt like he was losing all his muscles. And it's just like, I remember that, and that's true. Like, right. Like, that's just a normal thing that happens to people. Like, you build up big muscles and then you stop working out. They go away quickly. Like, you've worked really hard on them, but they'll go away.
Yeah.
But I want Bang Chan to be at like Kingdom Wolfgang, big again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'd like him to be. And maybe, like, look, his concept is his concept. He can do what he wants, but I just think I miss it. I mean, I can go back and watch it. But it was good. I mean, he was a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and if you want to be a big boy, you're like, is that the best segue ever? It's not too bad. Oh, yeah. I think we briefly touch on Road to Kingdom.
Yeah.
There was another group, I think, that performed a Stray Kids song.
Oh.
So we're just the biggest thing in the world. That's how it feels right now.
Stray Kids World Domination.
Stray Kids World Domination. And if you want to dominate the world of Stray Kids, that was better, right?
Yeah. If you want to join a cult.
If you want to join a cult, please go to makeastay.com and join Discord. That's right. See all the stuff on there. And we'll see you next week when we finally finish this. And then I think we're going to go, I think we might watch A2K again, at least like every other week until we finish it so we can finally get it done. Like I'm ready. It's been a minute. Let's get back to it.
Yeah. We got to finish.
And we got to find out what happens. What happens to the girls in A2K? We're going to find out someday, but right now it's all Stray Kids all the time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stray Kids is cool.
Should we come up with some lyrics for these songs? For our intro
Probably
song
not.
And our outro?
Probably not.
And sing it?